Welcome back everyone, I'm Craven and this is Trails the Third. Last time we went into the moon door and saw an exquisite and a very long scene about Tita and her mom, dad, Professor Russell, and of course the new Orbital Gear project, which I thought was going to be more impressive if I'm totally honest, but the fact that they rebuilt one of the gears is impressive in its own right, and they have to start somewhere. And apparently the second part will be about them actually testing it. And getting back to that, if we click on the door, bring to me the girl, skilled in orbital engineering, accompanied by an ever-burning flame. Only then shall the door be opened. Well, we all know what that means. A git, definitely. Because he is part of the second part of that story, we know about it, because he arrives once a month in Zeiss. And that's part of the next bit, and of course the test of the orbital weapon. So yeah, if we want to see more, we need to bring a git in our party towards this door with Tita, and then we can see another long cutscene. And we've also seen that there are other types of doors with shorter scenes and even mini games, but I'm thinking we'll learn about that all in the process of continuing to explore this entire space. So I say for now, let's continue on with that. I think that's the best thing we can do at the moment, because like I said, I have so many theories about this place. We need so much more info to get a more clear understanding about what's actually going on here. But we'll figure it out, we always do. Just how long does this place go on for? It's so strange too. The shadow towers were weird enough, but even they made a lot more sense than this does. Is something wrong, Ries? What you go all quiet for? Well, I was just wondering what that is. What is? Ooh, see another door? The Arseille! What's the Arseille doing here? You recognize this ship? Uh-huh, it belongs to the royal family of Liberl. We used to get on top of that floating city. Interesting. Do you have any idea how something like that could possibly have ended up here? Maybe it was sent here the same way we were? I don't think we'll get anywhere speculating. Could have come in our way. Could have come in some other way. We just don't know yet. The best thing for us to do is to see what the guys inside have to say. Because there was an entire crew on the Arseille. I wonder if they're all in there. Or maybe just one person? Another sealing stone? I'm pretty sure a git one won't be on there. The only thing I could think of being on there would be Swartz or maybe Mueller. But those are really just the only two I would give even a chance thought about being in that location. But there's only one way to find out, and that's to actually go there and have a quick look-see. And hopefully we'll not get a bigger cutscene as we had last time. Ooh, another monument. Like a more local way to unleash a sealing stone? Because you do have that nice old indentation on top. Huh. Well, this is like that monument in the area we started in. Though it's not glowing like that one is. The one in the garden had no glow in the beginning either. Kevin, do you want to give it a try? I was just thinking the same thing. So maybe a midway store? Like a connection to the monument? So we don't have to go all the way back? Oh! I suspected as much. When we activated the first monument, it said, "Release my brethren." I guess now we know what it meant. Then, Then do you think this monument might have the same power as the other one? Most likely. It should come in handy at least. Inspecting monuments scattered around throughout the game allows you to use the cube to restore their power. Much like the one in the base area, you can use these to restore HP, EP, buy equipment and make quartz. They also function as checkpoints, allowing you to warp to them using the cube. In addition, any new items available will be added to the base monument stock as well. But just the sheer fact that we can teleport here now to this exact monument already makes it incredibly useful for us. Ooh, look at that! Only a new gun, but that's about it. Prevents sleep, prevents mute. Well, seeing as Kevin and Ries are not carrying anything, I'm just gonna splurge a little bit. Just so we have all gotten 2 accessories. Alright, I don't know if it's going to be useful, but at least they're wearing something. Later on, when we have more options, we can definitively decide what we want to carry with us. Which I really would like death blow protection, but that might be just me. Okay, so we got 2 ways to go. 2 teleports. Let's see which one will lead to something interesting. They probably both will, but one will be more interesting than the other, I'm sure of it. Okay, this is just a square. Ooh. Well, that one will... Ooh, what's that? That reminded me of a palm. I don't know why, but the fact that it ran away straight away reminded me of a palm even more. Alright, let's go straight into the artwork then. Don't worry, you won't get a chance to get that out.
Not bad.
Alright, let's see what's in here. Smelling salts. Why is Dean called the Spinach Fiend anyway? Does he really sound like spinach? Probably a reference I don't get. 2736. With one particularly obnoxious clink, she sets down her utensils, then glared at him with an uncomfortable firmness that would have a lesser man avert his eyes in shame. She bit her lip before asking, "Really? Did they just add an excerpt from a manga or something into a chest? Really? Extra spicy fries. Don't you hate it when someone opens the door and doesn't close it when they leave?" Definitely stares menacingly. Do we need to use it first? Probably. Extra spicy fries. Alright, so we got 2 recipes. Yeah, we're gonna get like the basic ones for a while now before we get the first useful ones, which is probably gonna be, for me at least, the CP regeneration stuff. But like I said, I want to handle it a bit differently on this one. No, don't go back. I want to make every recipe we get at least once with my own ingredients. And of course afterwards we only make the ones that are actually useful to us. So when we get a nice chunk of mirror, I'm gonna get the ingredients and make the recipes we have. Where are we going? And of course, I picked the right one straight away. You cannot write this stuff. Ooh, red chest. What a beautiful airship. It's not just pretty either, it's got really high specs too. Last I heard, its top speed was raised to 3600 SPH. 3600 SPH? That's even faster than a Makaba. What's a Makaba? Oh, it's a kind of airship the church uses. Anyway, never mind that now, something's up here. It doesn't look like there's anyone inside at all. Yeah, you're right. And the orbital engines doesn't seem to be on. We ought to be on the guardian side. Yeah, there might be a boss of some kind. I don't know. One way to find it out. Well, I definitely want the chest that I see. That's not where we entered. There are no signs of life in here at all. The ship must have been abandoned for at least a few days, if not more. Yeah, the orbital power seems to be completely down too. Makes me wonder if there's some kind of problem with the engines. Well, we're not gonna figure anything outstanding here, so let's take a look around. There might be some kind of clue around that'll help us discover what happened. Okay, so the inside is a little bit turned around, it seems. So this should be the back end, right? Yeah, there's the chest we wanted. Royal spikes. You took all my loot. How am I supposed to pay my room and board now? I don't know. I don't care. Haha, because this stuff is mine. Alright, Ries is gonna be most upfront. No male or female, just impressive. Agility and movement up, so let's give it to her. And like I said, I'm still figuring out how to set them all up for the fights, and we still haven't finalized anything yet. So we're gonna try some arch, we're gonna try some melee, and we'll see where we end up with. Let's can't get in there. At least not now, not yet. Maybe because there is no power to open up the door. So if we get to the engine room, maybe they'll show us? A recipe was written on a scrap of paper within. Learn the recipe for easy paella. Do you have any idea how old that dish was? Yeah, that's why it was written on a recipe and not the actual dish itself. Because you didn't want to eat that, trust me. So for everyone, 4,000 all, sit down. Yes. It's not to be used during a fight, just to eat, just like it is. Okay, that door does work. Is this some kind of factory? Yep. It's the area where the maintenance crew does all of their work, but there sure isn't anybody here right now. This is bizarre. Just where did everyone go? Can we go into the engine room? On the other side of this door is the ship's engine room, right? That's right. The 8 state-of-the-art XG02 engines that serve as its main engines are stored in there. I'm going to take a look at them. Okay, I thought the game was going to give us an option. It's no good. I couldn't get any of them to turn on at all. I'm not even sure why they won't work either. I see. Well, we already know that this place is more or less has its own laws. It wouldn't be unusual if one of those caused machinery of all kinds to become non-functional. I wish I could help you out more. Still, I was at least able to secure a backup orbital power line. So the computer over there should be good to go. Really? Oh, there's plenty of help, Tita. Let's check it out and see what it can let us do. Definitely. See if there's anything else we can interact with in this room. An orbital calculator. Security can be disabled in event of emergency. Select an area to unlock. The bridge. Beautiful. No. I want everything unlocked first. Or does it mean that other door will get unlocked, locked again, and then this one gets unlocked? I don't know. Let's just test it out and we'll see how it works. Because if they don't give me an indicator, I'm gonna assume we can open up everything straight away. Medical room. God, that's definitely Kevin's space. Alright. Engine room, authorized personnel only. Reviving bomb. You found the greatest gift of all. Love. Well, I can't sell it, so how great of a gift is that? Come on. Anything else for us? Nope. $300 Mira. Did you know the Trails in the Sky games now have a nifty skip S-craft feature on PC? That's not even in the original Japanese version. Isn't that a neato torpedo? Why would you ever want to skip an S-craft? Those things are amazing. Cause let's be honest, you've seen me play the previous two entries, and did you even see me skip up everything? Anything? Because I believe in the first and the second chapter there is an option to fast forward everything, isn't there? It just doesn't feel right to me to use it. The door is tightly locked, like it is in full stasis. Yes. Alright. In all honesty, I think the place where we'll see some action will probably be the bridge. Hit 2. Sure, but selling it won't help you escape from your father's shadow. Ouch. That was a sharp tongue of hers. He really did adore it. When this old man wasn't the topic of discussion, we're keeping it. Is there some way we can do something with that? Answer details? Alright. Alright, let's get to the bridge. Let's see if we can get a sealing stone from there, which I assumed. And there it is. And the place it's located, it can only be one person, isn't it? Captain Swartz. Another one of these, huh? Wow, it's so pretty. What is it though? It's called the sealing stone. This is just like the stone you were imprisoned in, as it so happens. It was this pretty? It's still weird to think about it, but all the same time, it's kinda nice too. Found sealing stone. If that idea we had about not being able to proceed without freeing who was ever in these is true, there's only one thing to do. Ready to head back to the base and unlock this little guy. Of course. Okay. Or little girl, cause I think I'm pretty right about the fact that this might be Captain Swartz, isn't it? Cause the location where it's at gives it away. Tita, she was randomly somewhere dropped inside the maze, but this one on the Arseille, on the captain's seat in the Arseille? Yeah, it can be only one. Well, why do we walk back? We can just go back to the pillar. And I wonder if we can use it there. Nope, we have to go back all the way to the base. So before we do that, I want to see where this one leads. Theoretically, it will probably lead to only a chest of some kind. You know what? I will get rid of all the 4 fights done so we can move on to the next area of teleportation. So see you at the end of the last fight. Okay, so let's see where the teleport leads us. Ooh, that looks like a specialty monster. I'm sure we can take it as long as we preemptive it. Go turn around, you guys. Look at that. He's definitely funky. Not very strong though. Alright, let's use Ascension. So you can just kick the ass. Because the Ascension will definitely wipe him off the map. Oh yeah, and we did level up one of Kevin's arts with those 4 fights against those statues. Ooh, a new door. Black Bangle, which we could buy at the store. Do you really have nothing better to do than open up all of us second time? Yeah, we do have something better to do, but you're worth it. The face greeted customers with an aged brick that had long eroded to the point of holes. The cracked windows, taped for stability and adorned with cobwebs, insect droppings, were repugnant. Okay. Bring to me the only girl in a band who takes to the skies. Only then shall the door opens. Swords. Again, swords. Alright, let's get back to base. But now that we touch the door, we can teleport to it, so that will make things a lot easier for us.
Oh, is this the part where someone comes out of it?
Given past precedent, most likely so. Whether it's someone completely different or a second Tida remains to be seen.
A second me?
In all honesty, I wouldn't mind that. Having two characters with an base multiple area of attack move, I love that. Yeah, definitely give me a second Tida, I wouldn't mind. If you jinxed us and we really do get a second Tida, I hope you're ready to be her new mom. Naturally, I love her like my own. I think she's actually serious about that. And another door opens. So am I right? I think so. A military uniform?
Wait, isn't that...
I knew it. The stone being inside the Arseille did make me wonder if it'd be someone related to it, and I was right on the mark. So was I, Kevin. So was I.
Oh, what happened, Echo? Report! What? How the...
You're probably feeling kind of confused right now, but it's good to see you again, Julia. Father? Tida? Before greeting all of you, I would simply like to ask, is this a dream or illusion? Or reality? I see. To be honest, all of this is a little hard to swallow, but it's clear I have no choice but to do so. Thanks for being quick on the uptake. Do you happen to remember what happened to you before you found yourself here? Were you also surrounded by white light last night? Well, it feels closer to mere moments ago rather than last night, but I assume so. I was on my way back to Leisten Fortress after finishing an airborne training exercise when it happened. I was sitting in my usual chair on the bridge when the white light you speak of appeared, and then, well, I have no memories between that and finding myself here. Yep, that about matches up with us then. All of us were drawn in here roughly the same circumstances and roughly the same time. Might you have an idea what happened to the rest of the ship's crew? I'm afraid not. I would be rather relieved if I were the only one drawn into this, but I have my doubts. Ooh, can you imagine? Swords being warped in here together with the Arseille, but the crew were not? Which would mean they would be in the air falling down to their deaths. Yeah, let's not think about that too much, because that would be really bad.
Seeing as the Arseille itself is here, could the rest of the crew have ended up here too? Or is it possible it was just you?
Well, we really don't have enough to go on to be sure either way at this point. All we know is that there was no one else in the Arseille when we found it. The only sealing stone that was there was Julia inside of it too. Father Graham, the two of you have started to investigate this peculiar place, have you not? That's right.
We haven't been doing it for very long, so we haven't made much progress yet. Then please allow me to assist you. I'm concerned about the safety of my subordinates, and I want to know why the Arseille became non-functional. And I think cooperating with the three of you will be the fastest way for me to answer both of those questions. I'd love that! And believe me, you won't see us complaining. We'd have to be nuts turning down the help of the Royal Army's finest up-and-coming swordsman. I fear you are overestimating my swordsmanship, but I appreciate you allowing me to accompany you all the same. Well, in that case, we should get started as soon as possible. It's my pleasure to fight along all of you. Likewise, and we're happy to have you. Damn sure, cause there's no one more capable than swords, trust me. Yeah, I do want her on the front. Yeah, this should be good enough. Because she's definitely a good fighter. Just Trinity Clies, area medium, draws triangle with a sword, then summons a light pillar. Alright. Pretty darn good. Let's give her the standard accessories that we just picked up at the gate. See if there's anything new in store that she can actually use. Probably not. No. This is the ones that they are carrying. No new tools. No need to... No, we don't need to restore ourselves just yet. We can sit inside quartz, but let's leave that for in between the episodes so I can mess around with that a little bit. But before we go, seeing as Julia's CP is totally drained, and I'm pretty sure enough time has passed for us to have a little sip at the waterfall once again. And there was mentioned that not only CP but also HP is recovered here, which is nice to know, but even if it didn't give us the HP, we could restore it at the monument anyway, so I'm just glad we have a place we can restore our CP at, together with our HP and EP. Alright, so let's get straight back into it. Let's go to the sun doors first and see if I was right that they were talking about Captain Swords, because I want to see what kind of door this actually is. This was a sun door. Minigames? Bring to me the only girl in a band who takes to the skies. It says girl and not woman. They could be talking about Josette, doesn't it? I think they are. Yeah, because in fact, Captain Sword does have a merry band that goes into the skies, but the way it's described does fit more with Josette, doesn't it? Alright. Well, at least the doors are unlocked. And yes, I could teleport to the door, but I want to have a fight with Swords in our team before we head along a little bit further in. And if we see any other doors, we're not going to interact with it because we have no idea how long the story will be once we do. You four can just stay here, it's fine. We're just making a quick way back towards this door. Because the enemies will always be there for us to fight, that's for definite. Ooh, I see enemies walking in the background. And like always, if we can preemptive strike, we'll definitely do it. Area support all, strength and speed up. Ooh, this is nice. I like this. It's like a better form than morale. So support, single attack, impede. I wonder if she's gonna get like an area strike as well. Well, only one way to find out. And that's just to keep on fighting on. Alright, they're too far apart now. Unless we smoke them.
Prepare to meet your doom.
Really? You missing? Yeah, I think someone is ready to get the hit 2 we got in the Arseille. Yeah. We can take it down as well. No problem, especially with the critical in here. I don't think she can take him down, so let's smoke him as well. When he's blind, I'm pretty sure there's nothing he can do to us. But Tita can definitely get her CP back before he knows, especially with that accessory.
Not bad.
I'm still with my thought on that one enemy we saw earlier that looked like a pawn. I really hope it is one, because it means when we find a location where they are, we can grind them for Sepit, because those things always have humongous amount of Sepit on them. Especially now in the beginning, we're gonna get characters pretty quickly, I reckon. We want to open up all their EPs as fast as possible, so we can set them away with the quartz that we have and be actually pretty useful. Alright, that's enough to get it down with this attack. Perfect. Alright, Ries, let's wrap that sword around its neck. Fresh water. Empty chest? Why not fill it up again at Bose Market? Mabel. Great press release. Really? It's always going to be the last one I press, isn't it? Pierced KO. What is the recipe for it? No waters in it whatsoever. So how can you claim it as a water recipe? Come on. Okay, so just going around one warp after another. Don't run away. I need one to stay so I can actually view it. Alright, why not? Really? Oh, I was hoping it was a little bit bigger than that. Everything in this attack is planned out, all to make sure the enemies are gone before it's their turn.
Alright, what's next?
I do hope we can get to a door at some point. Ooh, Sepith. I hear Olivier makes his pack Mueller carry all of his belongings for him. Which is technically true. Because I've heard the same thing. If two people hear the same thing, you know it's gotta be true. Yeah, and we feel like this is going further down, but it's a warp. It could go left, right, up, down, into another alternate dimension. We don't know. Yeah, you just keep turning around there. Alright, a Russian critical and a vanish. Yes, this enemy is yeah, not very lucky.
Alright, what's next?
Fishy finale. I really should have ordered that security ornament from ZCF. I really should say Zeiss Central Factory, because we know what it means. More sapphire. A forgotten chest, despoiled and left behind. Its sad lot in life. Haiku! Yeah, I know what a haiku is now. I recognize it. Nothing here? Alright, again, one enemy. So we just can keep the lot moving and reach the bottom. Or at least get to another door. I will be happy with either. Alright, well I can't let this go, so let's use a move. Oh, that might be a very good one for a separate round. Okay, pretty darn good. Okay, so this looks potentially different. Elevator? Elevator. We did see a door in the background in one of those levels, didn't we? So what are we gonna get there? I wonder. Well, I hope we can get to a monument of some sort, so we have another place we can warp to. Uh-oh. Boss arena? Oh, this isn't good. Notice it too, huh? Notice what? Do you sense monsters? I can't feel anything of the sort. Oh, that's normal. I doubt anyone who isn't part of the church would recognize what's going on. It's a particular kind of rotting smell. The scent of the underworld. It's faint, but it's there, and it's coming from the area up ahead. Whatever's lying in wait for us, it's going to be unlike any of the other fiends we have fought up till this point. We're going to need to be exceptionally careful. Uh-oh. That's unfortunate. Still, if we intend to proceed with our investigation, we have no choice but to advance, whatever may stand in our way. And having said that, we know what we got to do. Prep as all hell and do it at the beginning of the next episode. Alright. Pretty good, activated. So this is definitely a warp to this place, so now we can get anywhere we've been to so far. Pretty darn good, if I have to say so myself, but I'm gonna leave it here. In between the episodes, I will probably do 1 or 2 extra fights, get some extra sepits so we can set up swords as well for the upcoming battle, maybe adjust a little bit of the rest as well with the extra we have, and maybe open up a slot or 2, because there is still so much growth potential we have in our party. EP wise and chord wise, you have no idea. So I'm gonna focus on that between the episodes, but until then, I wish you all a great night, morning, day, wherever you are. And if you're still here, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and make sure to be back next time as we face whatever fiend's up next. Whatever it is, it's going down. Bye bye.